Ooh, this could be a controversial one. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about should Fortnite OG be a permanent game mode. Now, we all know that Fortnite OG is absolutely blasted player numbers for Fortnite, up to the highest levels of popularity it's had since it was originally massively popular. But some people are pleading for Fortnite OG to become a permanent game mode even after the map is officially removed and we return back to the Chapter 5 schedule next season in only just a week and a half. There are a lot of opinions on this, but I'm going to be weighing up the two biggest ones, which is the argument for Fortnite OG being a permanent game mode and then the argument against. And then I'm going to be talking about which one that I agree with, and if you guys are interested in more of these sort of videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell because I stream 3 times a week, so be sure you guys look out for that. Anyway guys, with that being said, let's get straight into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So the arguments for Fortnite OG becoming a permanent game mode don't necessarily start and end in the fact that everyone loves to see the old map. Fortnite OG will always be a source of nostalgia for many people who are gaming, especially around the time of either just before lockdown or around the 2017 to 2019 period. Now, the returning of an old map could theoretically drive up player engagement all the way until it is removed again. However, that depends completely on the sort of engagement that Epic Games want to see for their platform. Do Epic Games really want to see a drive up of engagement of players that don't engage with any of their new content and only want to focus on the Fortnite OG map? Or do they prefer those same players to be equally engaged with their new content that they're putting effort out into bring back season after season? That's the real question here. I think the argument for Fortnite OG becoming a permanent game mode essentially rests on would it divide the player base, which is actually going to be one of my biggest arguments against Fortnite OG becoming a permanent game mode. And as you can tell, I'm actually not on the side of Fortnite OG becoming a permanent game mode. I'll get more into those points in the against argument, but for now, let's just talk about the couple of pluses that the Fortnite OG map has. Number one is that it is entirely better as a building map as opposed to a zero build map, which means that it's also very much suited to competitive Fortnite, being that there's much less natural cover and there's much less high and low points in the map, meaning that all firefights are immediately more equal, and building is 100 times more important in this map than it is in any other map. You can view that as a positive or a negative, but I'm going to see it as a positive because if we're going to be talking competitive, then realistically, the biggest test for competitive being building is most strongly assessed here in Fortnite OG's map. Now, another plus for Fortnite OG becoming permanent game mode is that Fortnite OG map actually does have the best combination of POIs in any map of the game's history. How many maps could you tell me have the same number of iconic POIs, such as stuff like Tilted Towers, Pleasant Park, Retail Row, Lazy Links, Dusty Divot? All of those, absolutely iconic. So much so that they've been brought back in subsequent seasons, and they've also been the most popular POIs in those seasons as well. Now, of course, there have been some incredibly popular, incredibly good POIs in preceding seasons. However, no map has ever had the same number of POIs that have all held up a consistent level of quality over the entire map. There's always been at least a few POIs in every map that just hasn't deserved any sort of engagement because they're lower standard than the rest. Fortnite OG's map has some incredible places to land, and that is probably the biggest reason why people love landing on this map. Because let's be honest, it's really not for the space in between, because there's really not that much there. Those are really the only positives that I can see for Fortnite OG becoming a permanent game mode, because while it has been an incredible experiment and incredibly popularity thing for Fortnite and Epic Games, the issues with Fortnite becoming a permanent game mode really draw the issues with Fortnite's OG map into new light. Let's talk now about the argument against Fortnite OG becoming a permanent game mode, because there's a lot more than positives. Let's talk about it. I just want to establish one thing before I talk about this. Firstly, you should subscribe if you're enjoying this video, And if you want to enjoy any of my other videos, check out my channel, link in the description below. But my actual point is that I started playing Fortnite in Chapter 1 Season 3. I have loved Fortnite for a very, very long time, and I've been a fan almost since that's the season that I started playing. I have so much love for the OG map, but that also doesn't stop me from seeing the downsides to it. Number one, the space between the POIs is very, very bare. So it's actually entirely unsuited to zero build mode, which is actually probably the reason that Fortnite is still becoming popular. Just because if you remember, back in, I think it was Chapter 3, if you remember, the situation was the Fortnite was in before that, and it was hitting fairly low in the popularity level, and then suddenly, zero build came back, and players flooded back into Fortnite. Fortnite Zero Build adds a whole new level of accessibility into Fortnite, simply because it takes away from the technical finickiness that are in build battles, and it really allows players to shine on the merits of their own aim, as opposed to having to learn an entirely new mechanic for just Fortnite alone. It's also a massive plus for new players to be tempted into Fortnite to start with, especially younger players as well. Players who are struggling with picking up complicated mechanics such as building will have an entirely other game modes just so they can hop in, have a bit of fun with their friends, and get some victory royales. The issue with Fortnite's OG map is that it was entirely built to support building. There's very, very little in the way of natural cover, as I said before, and that is entirely detrimental to zero build mode completely. It just doesn't work. I've played so many matches this season. I've got very few zero build wins for the simple reason that it's so hard to take advantage of natural cover, so your aim has to be better. And I would say that it's actually harder to get a win in zero build than it is in building, simply because your aim has to be absolutely on point, otherwise you've got no chance, because you've got nowhere to hide if somebody's shooting at you, nowhere to run to. My second reason I think that Fortnite OG shouldn't be a permanent game mode is, after a while, Fortnite OG map will lose its shine. It's been a fantastic bit of nostalgia bait to bring Fortnite OG back, and I absolutely love that they've done it. We've all been begging for it for years, but I don't think it should be a permanent thing. But I think the longer it's in the game, the more people will realise that this map does have its weaknesses, and it's not perfect. And that's when player engagement starts to drop off, and we potentially see the lowest level of engagement we've seen in Fortnite for years. Simply because if Epic don't force people to engage with their new content, players just never will. They'll always engage with Fortnite's older content, the OG map, and they just won't ever learn to adapt to the new content Fortnite's putting out. And Fortnite will just be stuck in stasis of half its players playing its old map and half of its players playing its new content. And that's the other biggest problem. Player engagement will be heavily split if Fortnite OG stays as a permanent game mode. Because let's be honest, look at player levels before and after Fortnite OG became a game mode. It's just astronomical levels of player engagement that occurred straight away after Fortnite OG was added. If it was kept, there was simply no way that Epic could continue to manufacture new content in as much haste as they did before, simply because players just wouldn't engage with it. It would be pointless. I just don't think that it's a good idea to add something back for the sake of nostalgia, just to split and divide a player base that should be entirely concentrating in the new content that Fortnite's developers are working day and night in order to develop for us. Simply put, if Fortnite OG became a permanent game mode, Fortnite's player base would be so split in terms of who just plays Fortnite because they like the old maps, and who plays Fortnite because they want to see the new content that Epic is putting out. It would be, in my opinion, an utter disaster. You'd also have the situation of, well, if people want to play competitive, well, is there going to be a split competitive mode now? Is there going to be like competitive for Fortnite OG and competitive for the normal maps? If people have become very good at Fortnite by just playing Fortnite OG, and then suddenly there isn't a competitive mode of Fortnite OG, how are they going to bring those same skills into a map they've never played on before, just because they want to play competitive? But they can't split the competitive player base, because if they split the competitive player base, then what are they going to do when there's tournaments? Are people just going to have to play on whatever map they want? And then, like, how does that work? It just doesn't. Simply put, Fortnite OG's addition as a permanent game mode would just cause so much fragmentation to the player base, and it would just simply cause too much disarray that it just would not be worth taking the risk and adding it in order to appease certain fans that don't want to accept that Fortnite has moved on from the OG days. Sure, Fortnite OG has been a fantastic season. I've loved every minute of it, and it's really hit like my favourite parts of when Fortnite was around. However, I can also appreciate that Fortnite has grown since then, especially graphically, because look at those trees in Fortnite OG. Like, I'm sorry, but they just don't look good. But more so in way of map balance and map variety. Fortnite OG has been a fantastic experiment and a great way to bring new players back into the game. But if you look at it, on the whole, you balance the positives and negatives, Fortnite OG should never be included as a permanent game mode because it will simply split the player base, cause too much chaos, and take the attention away from where it really needs to be, which is Fortnite's new content that is released on a weekly basis and a seasonal basis for players to enjoy, and that is what really allows Fortnite to evolve. That's what we want. We don't want a game that's live service to be stuck in stasis for years, because that's how you end up with a game eventually dying. And we don't want that. Not for Fortnite, not for any live service game, but especially one that has just taken a massive leap into new highs of popularity, and that's why we need to not waste it, and we need to allow Epic Games to give us new content, and we need to try and enjoy that content just to see how Fortnite's evolved, and from then on we can truly appreciate just how good the OG map was. I think there's a real benefit to be able to look back at something with a rose-tinted glow and not beg for that one thing to stay around forever just because people can't let go. It was a great experiment, I loved it while it lasted, but it shouldn't be sticking around. Let's go to the future of Fortnite and let's see what the developers can bring us for Chapter 5. So, what do you guys think? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this one. Check out my other content, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.